Have you ever stopped to think that happiness isn't something you can reach, but something that is already inside of you? It may sound cliché, but the truth is, we're all chasing the wrong idea of happiness. We are so obsessed with the next achievement or the endless pursuit of status that we often forget what really matters. And the worst part? When we finally get what we thought would make us happy, we realize that happiness always slips away, like water between our fingers. Now, imagine if true happiness were in the things you already have, around you and inside of you. What if the key to happiness was nothing more than a simple shift in perspective? Keep reading and discover what really makes your heart beat faster, and how you can find the secret to happiness without having to look in distant places or in others' achievements. The pursuit of happiness. An endless cycle. Have you ever found yourself in an endless cycle of desires and achievements? It seems that every time we reach one thing, we are quickly on to the next big goal. This is a natural phenomenon of modern life, the constant search for more. When we were younger, our goals were clear: pass an exam, land that dream job, buy a house or car. These were the markers of happiness. But as we advance, something curious happens. When we achieve these goals, the happiness they bring is fleeting. The sense of accomplishment soon gives way to emptiness, and the search for something bigger or better begins. But instead of feeling satisfied, we end up feeling even more unsatisfied. It seems that happiness is always just one step ahead of us. No matter what we achieve, the cycle never ends. So what really matters in all of this? Looking inward, the true source of happiness. True happiness is not in the things we accomplish or the goals we achieve, but inside of us. This is something society rarely teaches us. We are taught from a young age to seek happiness in external things: the diploma, the marriage, the dream home. However, all this external search only makes us forget what is most essential, what we already have inside of us. True happiness comes from alignment with our inner self. It's a sense of being at peace with who we are, accepting ourselves fully, with all our flaws and qualities. When we begin to look inward, we realize that we don't need anyone's approval, nor material achievements, to be happy. Happiness is in the way we see ourselves and how we feel at every step we take, regardless of how the outside world may seem to be in constant motion. This doesn't mean we should abandon our ambitions, but that we need to understand that happiness isn't just in the results, but in the process. Gratitude for each small victory, recognition of the lessons we've learned, and acceptance of who we are key to a happy life. The art of appreciating the present. Often, we get lost in the past or the future and forget to live in the now. We live with our minds on worries, on what we haven't done yet, or on what we still need to achieve. But happiness, my friend, isn't out there in the future nor in the memories of the past. It's here now, in the moment when you breathe and look around you. Imagine this: you're walking in a park and see a flower blooming. If you're worried about work, your next goal, or what others think of you, you'll probably walk right past it, without even noticing the beauty of the moment. But if you stop and really look, you'll realize that that small detail brings unexpected happiness. True happiness is in appreciating the little things, the simple fact of being alive, breathing, and connecting with what is real. The art of living in the present is the key to a fuller, happier life. When you start to focus on what you have around you, instead of living tied to a future that never arrives, you begin to realize that happiness has always been there, with every step along the way. Relationships. Human connection as a pillar of happiness. If happiness was something that depended solely on personal achievements, we'd all be rich, but not necessarily happy. True happiness comes from connection with others. Humans are social beings, and relationships have a profound impact on our well-being. Studies show that people who maintain strong bonds of friendship and family support tend to be happier and have a better quality of life. Love, friendship, and mutual support are essential for us to feel whole. When we are surrounded by people who understand us, make us laugh, and are willing to support us through difficult times, our happiness becomes more constant. This doesn't mean we need to be surrounded by hundreds of friends, but that we should cultivate genuine relationships. Sometimes, a simple conversation with a friend can be the key to unlocking a sense of deep, lasting well-being. Forgiveness and release. Letting go of the past. Another obstacle to happiness is the weight of the past. We all carry at some point in our lives a grudge, a pain, a hurt. This is natural, but what we cannot allow is for those wounds to define us and prevent us from living fully. Forgiveness, both to others and to ourselves, is a crucial step in letting go of the past and making space for true happiness. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, but releasing the negative energy we're carrying. When we stop feeding bitterness and accept life's imperfections, we begin to live in a lighter, more peaceful way. Forgiveness frees us, not just from the actions of others, but from ourselves. Finding purpose, happiness in contribution. True happiness arises when we find a purpose larger than ourselves. When we dedicate ourselves to something that goes beyond our own needs and seek to contribute to the well-being of others, our lives become filled with meaning. It doesn't matter whether the purpose is small or grand. What matters is that it makes sense to us. When we feel that we're helping, contributing, and making a difference, our soul fills with satisfaction. Happiness doesn't come just from receiving, but from giving, sharing, and making a positive impact in the lives of others. Positive mindset, creating a grateful heart. Finally, happiness begins in the way we view the world. Our mindset shapes our reality. If we are constantly focused on what's missing, what we don't have, happiness becomes something impossible to achieve. But if we begin to cultivate a positive mindset, focusing on what is good in our lives, we create a cycle of gratitude and contentment. Gratitude is one of the greatest drivers of happiness. By valuing what we already have and the journey we've taken, we begin to realize that happiness isn't in the search for something more, but in appreciating what is already around us.